In the National Football League, tanking and gross mismanagement are considered especially heinous. In Cleveland, the dedicated detectives who investigate these and other unspeakable pigskin-related crimes are members of an elite squad called the Dumpster Fire Unit. These are their stories.
And then that bitch tried to steal my homework. Can you believe that? I thought she's messing with the wrong chick if she thinks she can get away with. Oh my god! What the hell is that? Honey, call the police, quick! I think the Cleveland Browns are dead! How could someone do this to our team?
Did you see anyone fleeing the scene?
I didn't see anything strange. Did you, honey?
Well, if you do remember anything else, here's my card. I'm Detective Mariska K. Cabot, and that's my partner, Detective Deacon. We're with the DFU.
DFU?
Dumpster Fire Unit. Thanks, folks. Doug, what do you got over there?
Definitely holding. Look at the neck area.
You're right, Doug. The Browns have been strangled. And this trail of orange and brown blood leads directly back to the Berea headquarters. This had to have been an inside job. You know, whatever the line is on the Packers game, I'll give the points.
I put everything into this team. Candidly, I'm ruined.
We understand this is a very difficult time for you.
I know it's been a rough couple of years, but I really thought we were on the verge of turning this here thing around and bringing Browns fans the winner they so richly deserve.
Jimmy, the evidence indicates the killer worked in the building. Anyone who works for you might have wanted the Browns dead.
Well, no one cares more about this great team than the people in this here building. And of course, the wonderful people of this fine city. Candidly, the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. I say, I want the doggone perpetrator brought to justice. Whatever I can do to assist, please don't hesitate to ask.
We're gonna want to interview some of your staff.
My secretary, Yolanda, will find an office for you two. And my whole staff is at your disposal for whatever you might need.
Right this way, detectives.
Hey, that's a nice-looking kid in the picture there. He yours?
That's my son, Heinz. He's going to Carnegie Mellon, just like his mom.
Now, detectives, I'd appreciate it if you'd keep me apprised of any developments. I want to watch you slap those charm bracelets on whomever carried out this dastardly deed.
Thanks, Jimmy. We will.
This really takes the wind out of our sails. What a waste of all that draft capital. Or do you suppose that the league will grant us compensatory picks?
So much for mourning the dead. You're the team's general manager, right?
Executive vice president, but for practical purposes, I can accede to that characterization.
And then there's Paul DePodesta. What's his role? We're gonna need to talk to him.
Chief strategy officer, but Paul works from California.
Strategy, huh? So it was his idea to become the laughingstock of professional sports? Tell me, Sashi, how many Ivy League executives does it take to screw a football team?
Sashi, we're looking for a motive. Can you think of anyone who might have wanted to do in the Browns?
I hate to say it, but I don't know if I entirely trust the coaching staff.
What would they have had to gain by killing the team they're paid to coach?
I never felt like they bought into our master plan.
You can hardly blame them. I mean, you're what? 1 in 27? It's gonna be tough for them to get another coaching job after this disaster. Tell us, were they gonna be fired at the end of the season?
We hadn't made any final decisions, but there have certainly been some bad signs. I mean, some of those red zone plays, the laughable penalty challenges, and starting Kaiser at the beginning of the season?
What choice did he have? Brock Osweiler? Cody Kessler?
Our analytics department like both those guys. We think with some sound coaching...
Sashi, Do you know where Coach Jackson is now?
I can't believe it ends like this. We had a great game plan for the Packers. Greg Williams was going to move Jabril Peppers back to the goal line. We'd have never given up another touchdown. I can only imagine your frustration. The loss is piling up.
I suppose you'll have to jump into Lake Erie now.
I told everybody I'm not swimming in that lake.
How badly did you want to avoid that polar bear swim?
If you're asking if I killed the Browns to skip a cold bath, you're barking in the wrong doghouse. But like I told the media, whatever happens, it's all on me. Deshaun blows inaudible, my wife sleeps with the mailman, Santa's sleigh breaks down, the team's dead, it's all my fault.
Are you saying you killed the Browns?
I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Ha! You know, I didn't pull the trigger, but I did let those overeducated morons run this team into the ground.
So you think Sashi may be involved?
You ask me, he killed this team 2 years ago.
Mr. Haslam, we just wanted to stop by and let you know where we are.
Well, I'm on pins and needles. My heart's palpitating like a Polska kielbasa on a hot grill. What are you thinking?
Jimmy, candidly, we've been noticing some tension between your coach and your general manager.
Well, yes, sir. There have been some creative differences here and there. But you don't think, I say, you don't think either of them could have been involved in a crime so heinous and atrocious and egregious and so forth? Is that what you're saying?
We aren't ready to arrest anyone, but we are thinking to put them in a room together to see if we can get one of them to break.
Well, I want to watch. I had two-way mirrors installed in all of our conference rooms so I could check in on everyone from time to time.
Yeah, that's not creepy. Jimmy, Hugh, Sashi, thanks for taking the time to stop by. We thought it might be easiest to clear this up as a group.
I have an unconventional idea. Perhaps we could engage in a round of charrettes. It's a form of brainstorming in which each person conducts a solitary ideation on their own, and then the team gradually builds upon one another's ideas until...
Was Cody Kessler the result of one of your crack team charrettes?
Boys, I told you I won't have no more fighting. We must honor the memory of the team we all loved so much.
Doug, Jimmy, why don't you leave me alone with these two? Either you want some coffee?
Give me a Mr. Pibb.
Jasmine loose leaf, please.
See if you can rustle something up, Doug. It's not too difficult for you dimwit. So, Sashi, I've got some good news. We called Roger Goodell, and it looks like with the Browns dead, you are in line for a whole slew of additional draft picks. I believe the words he used were, the new Browns are going to own the next two drafts.
All those pretty little picks. My God, Sashi, was this your doing? Did you kill the Browns for draft picks?
Don't be preposterous. That idea has as little merit as...
As what? Your decision to pass on Carson Wentz and Deshaun Watson? To let Mitchell Schwartz, Alex Mack, and Terrell Pryor go in favor of Cameron Irving, Sean Coleman, and Kenny Britt? To draft a kicker with a knuckleball and a curveball, but no fastball and no control? What's your game?
My game? You should be looking at Hugh, rookie quarterback, developing wide receivers. Strength of the team is running, and we never run the ball. He's lining up his offensive tackles along the sideline. He threw Kaiser to the wolves. If that's not sabotage...
What do you say, Hugh? You've nursed young quarterbacks like Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton. Why didn't you protect Kaiser? Why just set him up to fail? You said earlier you didn't want to jump in cold water, but you're about to land in hot water if you can't explain yourself.
Mariska, Kay, I know it's all on me, but look, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy.
Excuse me, fellas. That's the ME. What you got for me, Grossy? Uh-huh. Really? Are you sure? Okay, thanks.
Why did I ever hire these yabbering Yankee yams? Detective, are you getting any closer?
Doug, we just got the medical. Tony says it was definitely strangulation, but he found something surprising. Yellow terry cloth fibers, as though from...
Terrible towel?
Right, Doug, for once. Jesus, you're dense.
A terrible towel? Are you sure? So maybe it wasn't an inside job after all.
I'm not ready to say that. Jimmy, can you put together a list of all the Browns employees who have ties to Pittsburgh? Doug, let's get back in there.
I'll have Yolanda get right on it.
So what's next for both of you?
I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more. Oh yeah, I'm finished. What am I supposed to do? Go crawling back to Mike Brown for a job? And where's my Mr. Pibb?
What about you, Sashi? You've got all those pretty little picks. I suppose you and your geek squad will still be needed to figure out which future All-Pros not to draft.
I don't wish to equivocate, but that all depends. Has Jimmy heard back on the insurance?
What insurance?
Yes. Jimmy got a life insurance policy on the Browns a while back to protect himself and the team. My analytics folks told him it was a waste of time.
Because your eggheads have never been wrong before. So what's policy payout?
$1 billion. Enough to cut his losses, walk away from the team he bought, and open a rodeo circuit back in Tennessee.
Interesting.
Mariska Kate, what are you thinking?
Doug, I don't know what to think. Now I finally know how you feel, dumbass.
Detectives, we've got that data on the Pittsburgh connections to our employees that you asked for. Yolanda?
Here you are, detective.
Thanks. Doug, we've got 3 matches. Sammy Coates?
He wouldn't have been capable of a plot like this. Could hardly run a go route.
Right. Then there's a guy in ticketing and someone on the training staff.
Well, don't forget about Jimmy.
What?
That's right. Mr. Haslam, you used to own the Steelers, right?
Hardly. I mean, just a small minority share. I wanted to see how a successful franchise was run, so I could duplicate that success in a truly great city like Cleveland, Ohio.
Yolanda, if we checked Mr. Haslam's calendar, would we see any meetings with the Rooneys?
Well, we certainly exchanged pleasantries at the owners' meetings.
But Mr. Haslam, what about all those trips to Youngstown?
Well, sure, Charlie Staples is my favorite barbecue place. They even put actual coal dust in the dry rub. Nothing improper about that.
I know you go there to meet the Rooneys. He always came back smelling like kielbasa.
Kielbasa? Jimmy, didn't you mention kielbasa earlier today when we were chatting casually off the record?
Well, I do declare. Exit stage left.
Doug, don't let him get away. My only question, Jimmy, is why?
Watching the Rooneys, it all looked so easy. Hire some people, then bask in the translucent glow of a city's fond embrace. But then there was Holmgren and Banner and Lombardi and Chudzinski and Pettin and Farmer, and all the losing. Losing! Dee didn't marry a loser. Then this silver-tongued Ivy League lizard, Sashi, convinces me he has a visionary plan to remake the franchise using some kind of left-handed hedge fund tomfoolery. And Hugh, you hound dog-faced yodeling calamity of a coach, maybe instead of force-feeding drop passes to Ricardo Lewis, you might want to give the ball to Duke Johnson. Your balderdashers only had to win a couple of games to keep the fan base, but no, you couldn't even do that. And you couldn't stop with all your quarreling, your quibbling, and your persistent pettifogging. I couldn't face another rebuild. I couldn't face the other owners. I sure as hell couldn't face D. Well, I didn't know where to turn, so I called myself Dan and Art Rooney. Now they done told me to buy the Browns and hire Joe Banner. They came up with that insurance scheme. Turns out I was nothing but a tiny mustache-twirling puppet to them.
But Jimmy, why the terrible towel?
Well, I don't know. I guess I thought it would point the finger outside the building. Between this and that pilot flying J mess, and it hurts to say this, but maybe I'm not as good at this corporate espionage business as I wanted to believe.
You said you wanted to watch as I put the cuffs on whoever was responsible. It's your lucky day. Jimmy Haslam, you're under arrest for the murder of the Cleveland Browns and for conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Mariska K. Just one thing bothers me.
What's that, Doug? Your limited intelligence?
What do you think will happen to the Browns?
The great fans of this fine city certainly deserve a football team they can be proud of. You know, I've always wanted to run a football franchise. How hard can it be? Relax, Doug. I'm fucking with you. I'd rather be a sports writer than a team owner. God, you're such a dolt.
The story you've just listened to is completely real. No names were changed because there were no innocent to protect. Join us this fall for the continued adventures of Mariska K. Cabot and Doug Deacon on Law & Order: Dumpster Fire Unit on NBC.